Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
How do you feel about people, I know how I see it, but how do you feel about people calling you a culture vulture?
You sucking off of black culture.
Ooh.
You taking all, you're making money off black culture.
Did 50 ever like write your lyrics, or did you always write your own lyrics?
No, I always wrote my own lyrics.
Every time?
Yes.
Because there'd be no shame in saying that this dude who's phenomenal. After our first interview, you ended up going back to prison.
Vlad TV, the platform that has hosted some of the most raw and unfiltered interviews in hip-hop.
How you know that?
Well, that's just how prison is most times.
I'm telling you, how you know I got into it with a white dude, though?
I think you may have mentioned it in the past.
But behind the viral clips and headline-grabbing titles lies a darker side to Vlad TV that some of the industry's biggest names, including past interviewees and insiders, are now ready to expose.
You sucking off of black culture.
Ooh.
You taking all, you're making money off black culture.
From controversial questions.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
How do you feel about people, I know how I see it, but how do you feel about people calling you a culture vulture?
To mysteriously deleted interviews.
So Vlad TV or anybody's watching this, I would like you personally, Vlad, to take every video that Nori is on your site and take it off.
8 rappers have stepped forward to blow the whistle on Vlad's shady tactics, and what they reveal will have you questioning everything you've seen on his channel. So, who exactly is talking? For starters, we have Lil Baby. In 2020, Lil Baby sat down with DJ Vlad for an interview on Vlad TV, where the rapper was candid about his troubled past and time spent in jail. But things got a little strange when DJ Vlad started asking about a specific incident that Lil Baby hadn't openly discussed before. This moment sent alarm bells ringing for Lil Baby and left fans wondering how Vlad knew so much about his past, especially details that weren't public knowledge. It started off with DJ Vlad talking to Lil Baby about his upbringing, asking about his early run-ins with the law. The conversation flowed naturally, with Lil Baby explaining how he got caught up in the streets and started getting arrested around the age of 12. But the moment things got weird was when DJ Vlad brought up an altercation that Lil Baby had while locked up.
Okay, you got into a fight with a white dude.
Exactly.
Was it like a racist thing? Was it like whites and blacks kind of clicked up in there?
How you know that?
That simple question, how you know that, hit hard. It was clear Lil Baby hadn't shared this information publicly before, and even though Vlad tried to brush it off with, "That's just how prison is most of the time," Lil Baby wasn't buying it. You can hear the suspicion in his voice as he pushed back, saying,
I'm telling you, how you know I got into it with a white dude, though?
The tension in the room was obvious. Vlad awkwardly tried to recover, saying, "I think you may have mentioned it in the past," but Lil Baby wasn't letting it slide. In that moment, the vibe shifted. It was like Lil Baby realized there was more going on behind the scenes, and that Vlad seemed to have inside knowledge about things that most interviewers wouldn't have access to. Fans who watched the interview picked up on Lil Baby's reaction, with many of them speculating that Vlad was working with law enforcement or at least had some kind of shady connections. The internet blew up with comments about how Vlad was always digging for details that could potentially incriminate rappers, which only fueled the rumors that he might be a Fed. This wasn't the first time Vlad had been accused of setting traps for his interviewees. Over the years, many rappers have warned others to avoid Vlad TV because of the way he frames his questions, always fishing for stories that could get people into trouble. And in this moment, it seemed like Lil Baby caught on to that. Moving on. Fans on Twitter are convinced DJ Vlad is responsible for rapper Casanova's legal plight because of a particular tweet that was fired off on Monday night, December 7th, back in 2020. The Twitter post featured a YouTube video from hip-hop media Uncensored, which suggests the FBI pulled information from Vlad TV interviews despite the indictment making no such mention of Vlad TV. Hip Hop News Uncensored reports the feds had been watching Casanova since 2010, meaning they would have had plenty of time to dig into Casanova's media appearances. People familiar with Vlad TV are sometimes suspicious of not only his interview style but also the specific questions he asks about his subject's criminal activity.
From what I understand, you used to rob people barefaced. No mask.
Nah.
And then I heard you would rob people and then take pictures with them at the club.
The information used in the YouTube video comes from the initial indictment that was unsealed in White Plains Federal Court. 18 untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation gang members, including Casanova at the time, stood accused of crimes ranging from M and to narcotics T, but there's so much more to it. Casanova, born Caswell Sr., was facing life in prison before the Southern District of New York made its case against him. He was among 18 alleged untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation gang members indicted in New York. Casanova was charged with 3 counts related to drug, including conspiracy to commit racketeering, distribute controlled substances, and possession of a firearm, according to Vulture. The Brooklyn artist turned himself in, Mail.com reported. Casanova has been interviewed on Vlad TV several times. It's not that he's getting cats hemmed up, it's the way he speaks. I can hear the smug smile whilst he asks about plights, choices, and repercussions he will know nothing about. Ever. This culture is for his foraging only. Then back to Calabasas. Watch him cite Noi though. Fans called for a boycott of Vlad TV. Don't just stop watching Vlad. Stop acting with content like that entirely. All it does is make a proof of concept and spawn more ish like that, one tweeted. Another person wrote, Vlad said my name is on no paperwork, like you definitely the police. Assistant U.S. Attorney Shiva Lagaraja wrote, using his public platform, he, Casanova, has amplified the message of the gang, both through his music and his social media profiles.
Brooklyn-born rapper Casanova pleads guilty to federal racketeering and drug charges. The U.S. Attorney's Office claims Casanova led the untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation Bloods gang and directed a multi-state conspiracy in that role. Inner City Press, the outlet that meticulously covered Tekashi 6ix9ine's racketeering trial on Twitter, confirmed information Casanova supplied during his interviews, presumably with Vlad, was used in the indictment. But as mentioned earlier, there's no mention of Vlad TV in the indictment. Fans, however, weren't the only ones to talk about it. Legendary Brand Nubian, New York rapper, producer, actor, now tuned podcaster Lord Jamar also weighed in on the Casanova 2X federal case and the possible involvement or not of DJ Vlad from Vlad TV.
Oh, Vlad TV. He was in there as a means to indict Casanova 2 times.
Lord Jamar was, of course, a longtime regular guest on Vlad TV for many years on various social issues, including racism, homophobia, as well as a range of hip-hop topics before they split. With parts of Vlad's interview being allegedly used for the current indictment, opinions are somewhat split into some sections as to whether it is DJ Vlad's line of questioning that gets some of his overly sharing guests in trouble, or whether in fact his guests should take more personal responsibility with the answers in which they provided. With some claiming that Vlad is a culture vulture, the Soviet immigrant from Kyiv who became the household entity in hip-hop media and entertainment now known as DJ Vlad has had a long-running and strong association with hip-hop since settling in California as a young child in the late 1970s. He released mixtapes, produced documentaries, as well as earned a degree in computer science from the University of California, Berkeley, and worked in a variety of computer corporate positions. This has given the platform a reputation for having a curse, the Vlad curse. People have alleged that whoever Vlad interviews gets arrested. Some examples of artists include Keef D, who was arrested for of Tupac Shakur, and Rollo, who was apprehended and accused of running a cross-country drug operation.
It looked like he was reaching, yeah. Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you actually see a gun?
No, once he got the reaching, I got the ducking.
Speaking to Revolt TV about the curse, Vlad said he didn't believe it to be true. I mean, apart from the Cafe D situation, I've never heard of that actually happening, he said, just to keep it 100. Like, I've never heard of our stuff actually being used, an interview being used against someone in a case that they actually talked about. In my rationale for the Keef D situation, he wrote an effing book. Of all the other guests, there is probably none who took their feud with Vlad as seriously as 50 Cent did. In the world of hip-hop, feuds are almost a given. Yet few rivalries are as enduring or complicated as 50 Cent's battles, and DJ Vlad's platform has often played a part in keeping those flames alive. Recently, Tony Yayo, one of 50 Cent's closest allies, revealed that 50 offered him $5 million to start his own platform and stop appearing on Vlad TV. Given that Yayo is one of Vlad's biggest recurring guests, this offer seems like a strategic move by 50 to hit Vlad where it hurts, his business.
Because I'm getting millions with 50 already. Look, hold
on. If this is your last interview, I appreciate all the interviews you've done.
See, he's getting scared now. Look, he's getting scared.
If Yayo follows through and starts his own platform, it could significantly impact Vlad's career, especially since Yayo's frequent appearances are a major draw for the channel. This feels like part of a broader plan by 50 Cent, who's never shied away from using his influence to take down people who cross him. But why is 50 so determined to distance himself and his crew from Vlad? The tension between Vlad and 50 has been brewing for some time. Vlad TV, known for getting its guests to open up about their personal lives and feuds, often drives artists to talk about 50 Cent in a negative light. One of the most recent artists to take shots at 50 on Vlad TV is rapper Hurricane Chris.
So of course we accepting you in the city and you saying this your city, but let us actually show you the city. Don't just spend all your time downtown with the people with the suits and with the people that, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can actually show you this community.
In his Vlad TV interview, Hurricane Chris didn't hold back. He claimed that he's a better rapper than 50 Cent, reigniting a feud that has been simmering for a while. Of course, 50, known for his witty and ruthless comebacks, didn't let this slide. He responded to Hurricane Chris in classic 50 Cent style by making a joke out of it. 50 shared a clip from Hurricane Chris's interview, where the rapper discussed Louisiana's struggling education system. Hurricane Chris made a mistake while speaking, mispronouncing educational as educational, and 50 was quick to capitalize on it. This is what happens when the educational system fails you in the 50 states of America. 50 captioned the post, mocking Chris's slip-up. Hurricane Chris, not one to back down, responded in the comments, admitting that he spoke too fast but also calling out 50 for focusing on the slip-up rather than the serious issue of Louisiana's education system. This latest spat between Hurricane Chris and 50 Cent is just another example of how DJ Vlad's platform has become a breeding ground for drama. Vlad seems to thrive on these moments, often pushing his guests to talk about 50 in ways that spark controversy. But for 50 Cent, this pattern is nothing new. In fact, Vlad has tried on multiple occasions to get Tony Yayo, one of 50's most loyal friends, to criticize him. But Yayo has consistently stood by 50.
Did 50 ever, like, write your lyrics, or did you always write your own lyrics?
Nah, I always wrote my own lyrics.
Every time?
Yes.
Because there'd be no shame in saying that this dude who's phenomenal.
50, I mean, come on.
Vlad's tactics have backfired with Yayo. For instance, Vlad once questioned Yayo about whether 50 Cent had written his lyrics on certain tracks, particularly So Seductive. Yayo clarified that while 50 did write some hooks, he always penned his own verses. This was a subtle way for Vlad to stir up tension, similar to how he tried to fan the flames between Hurricane Chris and 50. Behind all the drama, 50 Cent has been busy building a multimedia empire. While Vlad is stirring up drama on his platform, 50 is making moves in the business world. He's created multiple successful TV shows, launched a successful spirits brand, and is still relevant in the music industry. However, in an interview with Big Boy's Neighborhood, 50 Cent revealed that he sometimes wishes he wasn't the one in the spotlight. If he had it his way, Tony Yayo would have been the one to rise to fame, allowing 50 to focus on business from behind the scenes.
The beauty of how G-Unit worked is my solo album took off so big that I just brought them with me. So it was clear that it was me creating the opportunity for everybody else in the crew.
My solo album took off so big that I just brought them with me, 50 explained, referring to Yayo and the rest of G-Unit. But we were all together. I wish it would have been Yayo, because then I could have done all of the business. It's clear that 50 is not just a rapper. He's a businessman who knows how to play the game. He's fine with operating from behind the scenes, pulling the strings while others are in the spotlight. He's done this with his TV projects like the Power series and BMF, and even helped executive produce the late Pop Smoke's posthumous album. Speaking of Pop Smoke, 50 saw a lot of himself in the young rapper, which is why he felt compelled to produce his album, Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. In an interview with Billboard, 50 explained that he wanted to guide Pop Smoke to success the same way he rose to prominence in the early 2000s.
I didn't know, I prepared a speech, but something must have happened to it.
But no matter how much success 50 achieves, there always seems to be someone trying to take him down a notch. Another artist who's had a complicated history with 50 is The Game. In the past, The Game sat down with DJ Vlad and discussed his time with G-Unit, admitting that while it helped his career, it also led to tension with 50.
I always felt like if I never got put in G Unit or Dr. Dre never saw me in the Aftermath, I would still be sitting here talking to you with the same track record.
According to The Game, being part of G Unit helped him climb the industry ladder, but he always felt that 50 was the only one benefiting financially from their partnership. 50 was making the money, and we were just in G Unit, The Game said. He acknowledged that 50's drive for success left others in his shadow, and he longed to break out as a solo artist. Vlad has consistently used interviews with former G Unit members or collaborators to stoke the flames of resentment toward 50. Yet despite all the efforts to turn people against him, 50 has remained loyal to those who have stayed loyal to him. Tony Yayo in particular has proven to be a steadfast ally, never succumbing to Vlad's attempts to create division. In one interview, Vlad even tried to get Yayo to talk about the long-standing beef between 50 Cent and Ja Rule, but Yayo wasn't having any of it.
I have kids now, I want to put it behind us.
I'm just gonna take it back to the first. Shut the f up with that shit. We're gonna take it back to shut the f up with that shit, man, please.
Yayo rejected the idea that 50 and Ja Rule would ever squash their beef. Shut the F up with that S, Vlad, Yayo bluntly replied, making it clear that no amount of questioning would get him to turn on 50. Anyway, as controversial as these subjects are, these aren't the only reasons he's made the news in recent times. 2 years ago, Royce Da 5 called Vlad out for disrespecting Minister Louis Farrakhan, and Twitter wanted him canceled then too. The Cool Kids Chuck English, media personality Scotty Beam, journalist Bruce Coleridge, as well as Noor are among the many that joined the war.
Vlad TV, I feel like he disrespected hip-hop. I feel like he disrespected Louis Farrakhan. I feel like he didn't say sorry. So Vlad TV, or anybody's watching this, I would like you personally, Vlad, to take every video that Nori is on your site and take it off.
Vlad has built up a sizable platform throughout the years, amassing interviews with many of the game's rising rappers, not to mention countless conversations with OGs and veterans. And while some have criticized the media personality for a variety of reasons, many rappers have continued to sit down with VLAD TV to the point where his platform boasts one of hip-hop's most expansive archives. However, DJ Vlad has found himself on the receiving end of a widespread movement, one that recently found Noor taking a vocal stand against him. It started when Vlad made disparaging remarks about Louis Farrakhan during an interview with DL Hewley, which went on to upset artists like Royce Da 5'9" and Nick Cannon, one of Vlad's frequent collaborators.
Farrakhan's 4th of July speech, where he said, those of you that say you're Jews, I will not give you the honor of calling you a Jew. You're not a Jew. You're so-called. You're Satan.
Months ago, Vlad spoke about Minister Louis Farrakhan, misquoting comments that Farrakhan made about Jewish people. Many artists have come forward against Vlad, and Cannon questions whether or not DJ Vlad is a culture vulture. Vlad took an interesting turn in 2020. Vlad got out of pocket a little bit, walked on some landmines, and he misquoted, said Cannon during a conversation with comedian Godfrey, who has also done several appearances on Vlad's show. However, Godfrey disagreed. It wasn't a misquote. A misquote is when you take one little word and blah blah blah. He straight effing lied.
Vlad took an interesting turn in 2020. He misquoted.
It wasn't a misquote, because a misquote is when you like take one little word and blah blah blah. He straight fucking lied.
Cannon added, so when we see a platform that we don't own and someone's monetizing, making money on, and then you don't operate off of our code or what we see fit, we can't F with you. He saw us as commodities. Nick Cannon questioned how Vlad is different than J. Edgar Hoover, the first director of the FBI who targeted black and civil rights movement leaders. Though Vlad maintained that he had misquoted the minister, many rappers felt that his statement was disingenuous, to the point where the narrative has since begun to turn against the interviewer, so much so that Noreaga officially issued a public request that Vlad remove all videos involving him from the DJ Vlad YouTube channel. Vlad TV, I feel like he disrespected hip-hop, Noor said. I feel like he disrespected Louis Farrakhan and he didn't say sorry. So Vlad TV or anyone watching this, I would like you personally, Vlad, to take every video with Noor that's on your site, to take it off. I'm asking you that as a favor. I know I could have called you on the phone, but this is a public situation, not a private situation. So this is your boy Noor signing off. I don't want anything to do with that. And then we have Morgan Jerkins. You see, a while back, Vlad shared his thoughts on Kendrick Lamar's new Drake diss track, Not Like Us, via X. He commented on the mix, suggesting potential improvements.
DJ Vlad, Kendrick's Not Like Us needed a better mix. It takes away from the song. This occurs to me as being like maybe the most docile possible commentary you could have on this song.
In response, Morgan Jerkins, an author, editor, Princeton University professor, and famed producer Darkchild's niece, advised against involvement in the viral conversation. She wrote, "You are white. This is a black folk affair." Vlad responded swiftly and firmly to the remark. He even went as far as tagging Princeton directly in his reply, which many have remarked was in extremely poor taste. Wait, so a professor at Princeton is telling me that a white person shouldn't be allowed to voice their opinion about hip-hop? Is that how you interact with your students? The exchange continued as Vlad threatened to contact Princeton, again tagging the university. He then insinuated that she might lose her job at Princeton if he followed this action. Although Vlad tried to backtrack on his tweets the next day, saying he was only defending himself, Jerkins pointed out that he had already contacted the university by tagging them. Even the author Mark Lamont Hill tried to call Vlad out for weaponizing his whiteness, but Vlad instead made scalding comments about Lamont losing his job. Altogether, this entire exchange in the eyes of several fans felt like something out of a Karen playbook, as DJ Vlad allegedly weaponized his white fragility in an attempt to get a black woman fired. Another celebrity who has called out the interviewer is Tyrese Gibson. According to the news at the time, Tyrese was fed up with DJ Vlad using him for Vlad TV's clickbait. In a since-deleted Instagram post from about a year ago, the Black Rose crooner seemingly took offense to Boozy Badazz labeling him the most hurt person on Instagram on the controversial platform. To fuel the flame, Tyrese shared receipts of VLAD requesting him to appear in an interview for $10,000. "Your A is hurting because even after you offered me $10K, I turned down your corny A Culture Vulture show. Haven't you used black people enough? What's the dude's name who talks off camera who owns VLAD TV? Can y'all pull his tax returns?" wrote the former TGT member. "How much is he leeching off of black culture? This dude already had 4 people on his show and he randomly keeps bringing my name up. Laughing about my divorce traumas, laughing about my crying video, and trying to milk my traumas and pains in the clickbait for his goofy A show." He later urged fellow established artists to ignore Vlad's requests unless he's paying $10,000 or more, which would perfectly explain Marlon's choice. But speaking of being a culture vulture, a lot of damaging details have been published about Vlad through the years, with many tagging him as an op to black people. Reports say don't just think Vlad is an opponent of black people, they also think he just loves people who hate black people. Word has it that his reputation is built on his ability to get his subjects to name names and start beefs.
If you go to Vlad, you're going to jail.
Right.
At some point.
Or you're telling on yourself.
Or you're telling on yourself.
In recent years, several people have maintained that the only thing Vlad's platform has focused on achieving is the deterioration of the black image. Ever since, several stars have even refused to go on Vlad's show because, as Chicago MC Vince Staples noted, "I just ain't trying to sit down and talk about gangbanging for 30 minutes. And while Vlad might not work with law enforcement officers or government spy agencies, as some have suggested to Vlad TV viewers, he is someone who gives information and makes a practice, especially for a financial reward of informing against others for violations of penal laws." At the end of the day, people might not agree on why Vlad does what he does, but it's pretty clear that a lot of folks see him in the same light. The way he often interrogates his mostly black guests doesn't exactly give off a great vibe about him. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.